Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Hope you're all having a great day. I'm Jonathan Little of JonathanLittlePoker.com, of PokerCoaching.com. Welcome to the stream. We are connected to all the channels. I hope you're having a great morning. Hope life's treating you well. Today we have a very important topic to discuss. Do you all know what it is? Can you all guess? It's Friday! Yes, on Friday, you get to be off of work for the next few days. That's nice for a lot of people. Or you get to go gamble. A lot of people get to gamble on the weekends. Oh, someone was saying there's something in front of the screen. That is a lens. It's very important to understand that in life, you see through a lens. You do not see the world as it actually exists. Oh, goodness. So, what do I mean by this? What I mean is, imagine you go do something drunk compared to sober. Those who are 21. Do not drink if you're under 21. It's a bad idea. Don't drink at all, really. It's a bad idea. You have to understand that you are not going to perceive the world as it actually is, right? You are going to see the world clouded. Everyone gets that. That's not any sort of new groundbreaking logic. However, you also have to understand that when you're not drunk, you are also seeing the world through a lens. Let's suppose you go to play poker for the very first time, or do anything for the very first time. You're going to see the world very differently than if you have done the thing for 3 or 4 times. Like playing poker after 3 or 4 times, you know what the chip denominations are. You know how the play plays out, right? You know these things. You don't even have to think about it anymore. But later, like a year into your poker playing, now all of a sudden, you start seeing things even differently. And then after you've been playing for 10 years, you start seeing things differently. And even then, you could have played 10 years and somebody else could have played 10 years. And they may view the world differently, right? Imagine I have been studying game theory optimal strategies for the last 10 years, and you've been watching sports while you play poker for the last 10 years. Well, I'm probably going to be way ahead of you, right? And that's going to change the way I think. I may look down at 9-7 suited in the cutoff and think, okay, here we go. We're 3-betting if someone raises. Whereas you're thinking, okay, we have 9-7 suited, it flops well. We're going to call, right? These are very different ideas. One of them is right and one of them is wrong in terms of equity. And, it depends on why you're playing poker, right? If you went to play poker and you decided to watch sports all the time and never actually study poker, well, you're going to find that you are not actually gambling to win money. You're not trying to maximize your equity. You're trying to maximize your enjoyment. And, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to realize the person who is trying to maximize their equity, their expectation, is going to perceive the world differently than you and play better. So what are some other ways? Here we have our notes for today. Imagine you're just tired, right? Imagine you are not necessarily tired, but just like bored, annoyed. Poker's not going great, and you're just a little bit bored here. You're going to view that very differently than someone who is really excited and enthusiastic about the about going to play poker. Imagine you are tilted. Imagine you just lost a big hand with the aces against kings and that annoys you and you think, now I need to try to win my money back. Well, then you're going to be thinking very differently than you were thinking just a minute before when you did not have that experience yet, right? You can also have a different lens when you're really happy. Sometimes when people get happy, they just play really well. Sometimes they get overly excited and think they're invincible, which is a big problem, right? These are all big problems. So yeah, once you understand the idea that not just you, but everyone sees through a different lens, then you can start adjusting to better understand, or you can start learning to better understand people who see through a different lens, right? Imagine I know that you get really tilted when you lose with aces to kings, but I don't. I would not get tilted in this spot. I would be just happy because it doesn't matter. I have to understand you may be prone to go on tilt there. If you're prone to go on tilt there, and I am not, but I understand you are, that's going to work out way better for me than if I assume you think like I think. Your opponents do not think like you think. And in business, right? Whenever you're trying to negotiate something with someone, or if you're just trying to make a deal with someone about something, let's say, I don't know, you're trying to buy a book from someone, right? What if you want the book, I want to sell the book, we have to find a price that works for both of us. I, in theory, want to sell the book for as much as possible. I don't actually. I want to give my books away for free. You can get them at jonathanlittlepoker.com/free. But if I want to sell the book for as much as possible, and you want to get the book as cheaply as possible, well, we have two different lenses coming together, right? We have two different desires. And we have to figure out ways to make these two desires work together. And quite often, you're going to find that you can come up with mutually beneficial deals. We discussed this the other day in a little coffee where we were talking about, someone asked, do I play casino games? And the main time I said is when the casinos do not comp poker players very well, but they do comp casino gamblers very well. So I don't want to have to pay for my expenses. They want me to gamble. We have to figure out a mutually beneficial deal where they're giving me something of value, right? I would have normally paid $400 a night for a hotel room, but now it's free. Because it really doesn't cost them anything, because they have extra hotel rooms. It costs them like $20 a day. So they're giving me $20 a day, but the perceived value to me is $400 a day, right? And that's a mutually beneficial deal that works out for everyone. So in all aspects of life, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, realize things that they can give up cheaply, things that don't really matter to them, right? If someone has a lot of a resource, maybe an unlimited amount of the resource, but it is very limited to you, figure out ways to mutually beneficially get that type of thing. So, yeah. If you only see the world from your own point of view, you're going to be missing a lot. And it's important to understand, very, very, very important to understand, that you, me, all of us, do not see the world as it actually is. And I think the goal of most people here who are trying to improve their lives is to see the world as clearly as possible. Remember, if it looks like this to you all the time, whoop, whoop, that's a problem. You don't want it to look like this. You want it to be crystal clear. So how does this apply to other things? Well, you all know I have a hobby. I like Magic the Gathering. I don't just like Magic the Gathering, though. I like uniqueness. I'm a big fan of having things that other people do not have for whatever reason. So let me show you a little treasure. Right back here, for those who play Magic, we have a Black Lotus. This is one of the more valuable Magic cards. Here, we can zoom in over here. Everyone on not Instagram can see it if it'll work. Come on, camera. There it is. Beautiful Black Lotus. But you'll notice it's been drawn on. It's been drawn all over. Why would I want a Magic card that's been drawn all over? Well, it's been drawn all over by this guy, Christopher Rush. This is a Magic artist. He was perhaps the most iconic Magic artist. He drew this card. As you can see, his name is down here at the bottom. And he passed away a while back. So there are going to be no more of these. It's impossible to get these. And there's only, I don't even know how many in the world, maybe like 50. Right? So there's 50 of these in the world that are drawn on, and none of them look exactly like this. So, in my mind, this is way more valuable than a version of this card that is clean, right? If you take a look at this, it's actually quite beat up on the back. You see the card is not in good shape. And that's okay. I don't really mind if the card's in good shape or not, because I'm going to play with it. I put it in my deck and I play with it. And other people, they want their cards to be mint condition, perfect mint condition. And, you know, that is them coming from a different lens, right? They value different things than I value. I value uniqueness and fun, right? Whereas they value more perfection. In my mind, I'm fine with things not being perfect as long as they are fun and enjoyable and neat. And I think this type of thing is very neat. Some people, though, if you take this card to them, they will take this and say, this is a beat-up card, it is not worth anything, or it's worth very little. You'll get other cards and say this card's normally worth, let's say, $5,000. They'll say, oh my god, this is a one-of-a-kind treasure, it's worth $15,000. So it's all in perception. Whenever you're trying to value things, understand that some people perceive it differently than others. And it's important in markets to try to find people that value the same things you do. Read the book Thinking Fast and Slow. I think it's fun that people think I don't read books. Hello. Look, we have piles of books. But yeah, people generally aren't rational, and the information applies in poker. It definitely does. The information applies everywhere. Someone posted something on Instagram I thought was kind of neat. They said that normal people have big TVs, exceptional people have big libraries. And I thought that was neat. Matthew says he heard that this game is related to poker. It's not really related to poker, but it's similar to poker. So anyway, to some people this is garbage. If you don't play Magic the Gathering, this might as well be another 10-cent card, right? It doesn't matter. It's worth nothing. If you play Magic, even if you view it as beat up, it's worth $2,000, $3,000. And if you value the same things I value, it's worth, who knows? There are going to be no more of these. Ever. It's impossible to get them. Let's put this back here. We have some questions coming in. What are your thoughts on bounty tournaments? Oh, I want to go back to Thinking Fast and Slow. There's a program called Blinkist. I actually like it a lot. For most people, I think it is very beneficial because what it essentially does, it takes big books and consolidates them down to 5 or 10 pages. Now, of course, you're going to miss a lot of things. You're not going to get the story aspects of a lot of these books. But it's going to boil it down to the cold, hard facts and things you need to know. So I subscribe to it. I think it's $100 a year. And you get to get essentially cliff notes on all sorts of good books. So consider that. And then, if you like the book, if you think the concepts are neat, you want to know more, then go get the full book. I think it's a good way to almost like get a preview of it before you actually buy. You should always try to get a preview before you buy. That's why I give a preview to the vast majority of my video training products before you buy, because I want to make sure you're happy. That's why I offer a 90-day money-back guarantee on all of my training products, because I want to make sure you're happy, right? If you're not happy, I'm not happy, and I'm trying to make everyone here happy. All right, what are my thoughts on bounty tournaments? What's the question about them? I do think they exist. I don't particularly enjoy playing them, but I do think they exist. I suppose we will discuss the differences in the bounty tournaments. If you're playing a $100 tournament with a $20 bounty, what is happening in that game? Think about it. Compare it to a normal tournament prize pool. Where does the money go? Right? In a normal tournament prize pool, 15% of the players get money back. Okay? Then, the rest is given to the top 15%. Everybody else gets nothing. In a bounty tournament, though, with a small bounty, or even a regular bounty, one that does not progress, the money is paid out very flat. Right? If you bust in last place, you can get $20 back. Some people think that is a good thing. You know, like say you somehow, I guess you can't bust in last. If you bust in last place, you definitely can't get a bounty. But let's say you bust in the bottom 90% of the field, or bottom 10% of the field, you can still get a bounty, right? You can bust a guy and then get broke yourself. Is that good? I don't know, type in your answer. Do you think it's good to be able to win $20 back in these tournaments? And if it is good, who is it good for? The winning players or the losing players? Daniel says he assumes I am well-read. I'm actually not that well-read, but I do my best. I try to make the most of my time. This is just a small portion of my books. I have the other ones probably 5 times as many elsewhere. I enjoy reading. I don't get to read enough. I mean, to be fair, I probably read more than most, but I don't read as much as I would like. I wish I had more free time to read. You just have to devote your time to it, right? If you care about something, you will devote your time to it. How old were I when I turned pro? Turning pro is always an interesting topic, but I mean, roughly 19. Now I'm 33. All right, good. Regular bounty tournaments. Let's discuss this now. If you are good, if you think you have an edge on the field, you want the tournaments to pay winner take all. You may think, oh my God, well that's crazy. The variance should be through the roof. It would be. But that doesn't matter. You should be very happy to accept the variance. So if I want a winner-take-all tournament because I'm a good player, do I want half of the field getting some money back? And the answer is absolutely not. That is awful for pros. John Nelly said, these bounty tournaments where they pay out any sort of non-progressive bounty is very, very good for the bad players because they get some money back, right? They get some money back some portion of the time. If it's good for the bad players, it means it's bad for the good players. Now, some of the recreational players may punt their stack off poorly. They may really go after this $20 bounty for no reason, or for very little reason, or for a bad reason. Some people said bounties are good for aggressive players. Not necessarily. If you are aggressive and you get down a little bit, that's quite bad for you, right? Because then you can't collect bounties. Obviously, if you get up, it's good for you, but you can't really think it's necessarily good for aggressive players or not. So bounties that are not progressive are definitely good for the bad players. Now, what about progressive bounties? This is what you see in a lot of online tournaments, right? Where if I bust you, maybe instead of getting $20, I get $10 that goes to my account, and then $10 additional gets put on my bounty. So now my bounty would become $30. If someone busts me, they get $15, half of it, and then $15 goes on top of them. In these tournaments, what happens is that becomes very good for the good players because at the very end of the tournament, depending on the bounty could be gigantic. If you bust someone, you may get $5,000, right? And that becomes very, very beneficial for the good players, especially on sites like Party Poker and PokerStars where they have bounties where it's let's say a $100 buy-in, $50 of it is a bounty, and $50 goes to the prize pool. Now, well, if you bust someone, you get 25, and then you get 25 more on you. If you bust the next guy, if that guy busts you, he gets $37.50. By the end of those tournaments, you're often playing for, I think it's a fourth or half of the prize pool, one of the two. I could do the math and figure it out for you, but we're not going to do that right now. Anyway, it's a whole boatload. So winning becomes very important. First place, because you collect lots of the bounties, may end up being like 5 times second place or 4 times second place. Some sites have tournaments where if you bust someone, you get all of their money. There is no first place. It's a straight up cash game, which is kind of neat. So if you bust someone, you get their whole buy-in. If it's a $100 tournament, you bust them, you get $100. That's it. You bust a guy, you get $100. You bust a guy, you get $100. And you play that throughout the tournament. First place gets nothing. $0. So you could win the tournament and only get $100 back. That would be brutal. Could you imagine? Someone says that bounties are good for good players because more weaker players enter those tournaments. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. Look at the numbers. I think if you look at the World Series of Poker, for example, they have a bounty tournament every year. Or I think they do. Maybe they don't. But look at bounty tournaments and compare their field size to regular tournaments of the same buy-in. And I think you're going to find that the bounty tournaments get a smaller prize pool. Or a smaller total prize pool, counting the bounties. And that's because recreational players don't like things that confuse them. They don't like things that they view as different. I mean, this is why, like, for example, recreational players should love turbo tournaments, right? They should love them because it gives them it minimizes their skill disadvantage. Yet if you look at the World Series, turbo tournaments get fewer players than just a regular tournament. So be very aware of that recreational players don't like things that confuse them. Some do. Again, it depends on what lens they're looking through, right? Some people like to play random games. That's what they enjoy. We discussed this. I hate playing random games. It's a waste of my time because you don't make a ton of money doing it. Some people love it, though. Other people don't like change. I think most people don't like change so much. So, yeah. What book or good instruction do you know for Omaha and Omaha 8 or better? I do not know of many. This is a book by Akira called PLO Quick Pro. I think it's quite good. It's an expensive book, but I think that's quite a good book. Do you approve of deals and tournaments when down to the final few players? Do you play it out? 3 chips in a chair. I have an article. Let's not make a deal. Look it up. Jonathan Little, let's not make a deal, and it'll come right up. Basically, I think deals are very, very bad if you ever want to have a chance to succeed long-term in poker. Did I ever deal in a $10,000 event? No, absolutely not. Your biggest edge very often comes when you're playing very, very deep in a tournament. When you're playing for someone who cares about the money, who is perhaps not as good as you. Now, I've played 3 times, heads up, in World Poker Tour events. 3 times. I'll show you all what they give you when you win. Let's see. When you win, Well, at least when you used to win, I don't think they give you a watch now. When you used to win a World Poker Tour event, they give you one of these little black bracelets. It says World Poker Tour on it. It's kind of neat. This one says Foxwoods Poker Finals, long time ago, 2008, by Tiffany and Company. Don't know if you can see that. That is what that says, though. Whee! Probably isn't going to focus. That's okay. Anyway, they used to give you these little bracelets, in addition to a pile of money. And I played for this 3 times. I played against Corey Carroll, good online player. I spiked on him. I got in with ace-3 against, I think, ace-2 against ace-8. It wasn't for all my chips, but it was for all of his, and I won that. I had ace-2 suited. Obviously, you're just getting it in that spot with 20 big blinds heads up. Then I played against... Getting the order confused in my head. I think I won. I think it was Jonathan Jaffe next. One of the best heads-up players online in the world. He's not going to make a deal with me because I'm not a best heads-up online player in the world. And I'm not going to give him any bonus, right? Didn't make a deal. I won that one. Then I played against Scott Clements. You all probably know Scott Clements. You want someone who knows PLO. He has like 3 PLO bracelets, or three Omaha bracelets. So, he beat me. I got it in drawing dead. I had king 4, and the board was something like 7-7-4. And that was the first time my wife saw me play on TV, and she said, "Why'd you get it all in with 0% equity?" I didn't know I had 0% equity. Turns out even if I didn't get it in there, the turn was a king, so I would have had the top pair then, so I'm obviously never folding. So anyway, no, there was never even a mention of a deal. No one discussed a deal at all. You may say, why? You're playing for so much money. Because I don't care that much about money. I think the vast majority of people care about money more than I do. Now, maybe not Scott Clements or Jonathan Jaffe or Corey Carroll. These are all very, very strong-minded people, I presume. So, maybe there is no edge there. Even if there's not, it's very important to get experience when you're playing deep into tournaments. You may say, what if I only have 10 big blinds? Well, you sure better know how to play 10 big blinds against a good player because they are not going to make a deal with you. I will literally never make a deal with you if I think you care about money. Unless you're going to pay me a huge amount. So I have made a few deals. One time was against JC Tran. He paid me effectively, I think we did the math the other day, $3,500 to make a deal with him. I thought he was a very good player, so he paid me $3,500, and I said sure. I made a deal in the Sunday Million 4-handed one time. I was 4th in chips. I wanted as much as the 3rd place guy. Somehow they said sure. We made a deal. In a $1,000 tournament at Beau Rivage, one player who had half the chips really wanted the bracelet and the trophy. I wanted those bracelets too. I won the tournament right before this tournament that we chopped. There's this tournament. We showed this the other day. It's a very tarnished silver bracelet. I should probably get it cleaned. Let's see if you all can see this here. It says Beau Rivage on it. Anyway, he really wanted to make a deal, and he was willing to give me quite a good deal. I had 10% of the chips, and he gave me 25% of the money. It's good. You know, if you're going to pay me a lot of money to make the deal, we'll do it. One time I was railing my friend David Peters on one of his first big wins. It was a 10,000 euro tournament in Malta. It was a 25K in Malta. I think it was 25K because I remember I cashed it and then he won it. He was playing against a very good heads-up online player, Ivan Luka, and Ivan wanted to get a bonus from David Peters. Now, David Peters is, I don't, as far as I know, he's not like the best heads-up player in the world or anything like that. And Ivan is a very good heads-up player and wanted to get a bonus, right? He wanted David to pay him something. And David said no. So they played it out, right? But no, don't make deals. Making deals, especially in small stakes tournaments, is really bad because you will not get the experience you need whenever you do actually find yourself playing for significant money. Whenever you're playing heads up for, let's say, $100,000, if I win 55% and you win 45%, well, I own $55,000. That means your skill deficit, your lack of experience that you could have gotten by not chopping all these $100 local tournaments is now going to cost you $10,000 in equity. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. So, get some experience. You get experience by playing in high-pressure situations where you care. You need to play when you care. Otherwise, you're just going to lack the experience. Yeah, what about deals when you're shallow stacked? Don't do it. There's still plenty of edge to be had there. If y'all are enjoying this, a little coffee, by the way, make sure you follow me or subscribe or like wherever you are watching this. That would be very beneficial for me. And tell your friends. I would appreciate that. If you all have any other questions, let me know. I actually have to go in about 10 minutes today because I have an Inner Circle webinar. I have this thing called the Inner Circle where every 2 weeks I essentially have a call-in session. I present on specific topics. I actually forget what I'm presenting on today. I should probably figure that out. That's what I'm going to do at 9:35. I already have the PowerPoints made. I just have to refresh myself. And then people call in. Kind of like this, except for instead of just typing in a sentence, people call in and talk to me for 15 minutes. And we all share ideas and discuss issues, right? We discuss problems with our poker. A lot of them send me 5 or 10 hand histories. We go through all of them, and that's what I'm doing. We'll go from about 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. So they're always pretty long sessions, but I think a lot of people benefit from it. How much of a bankroll do you need for 2-5 no limit? Then a space. jlpoker.com/bankroll. How am I? I'm always great. Very rarely am I not great. If winner take all is good for the regular players, the good players, are survivor tournaments, satellites, good for the recreational players? Yes. Because you don't have to win. That said, I mean, good players are still going to have an edge, but return on investments overall will be lower. Like in a tournament, it's possible to have like 100% ROI or more if you're really good. If you are not good, and if you're in a satellite, though, your ROI may be 20% or 30%. I know a lot of people like to think that I'm really good at satellites. I cash half of them. Like, no, you don't. Over the long term, you just simply do not. Have I played any live tournaments in the Southern Hemisphere? I don't exactly know where the equator is. I've not played in South America, although I would love to play in South America. I played in Australia. That was a lot of fun. I played in Malta. I don't know if Malta's in the Southern Hemisphere or not. Not Malta. I know Malta's not. Cyprus. Someone look up Cyprus. Is it in the Southern Hemisphere? I don't think it is either. So only Australia. And Australia was a lot of fun. If you ever do go to Australia from America, though, make sure you make a long trip out of it. What you should do is I say should, as if I know what I'm talking about. I went to the World Series Asia Pacific, but you should go to the Aussie Millions, I think. It's a very good tournament. And then go up and down the West Coast. It'll take you, a week to play poker and then 2 weeks to go up and down the coast. You'll have so much fun. It'll be a great trip. You can do it cheaply, too. There's an island out there called Fraser Island where you can rent a Jeep. And then it's like really off-roading. And you can go out there. You can camp on the beach. Dingoes will come and try to take your food. And it's a lot of fun. If you like dingoes trying to take your food, you'll have a great time. Is 10,000 hands of live poker an adequate sample size? Depends on how accurate you want to be with your results. What's the topic? The topic today was lenses. We're going to talk about lenses one more time in just a few minutes. If you play big tournaments and win big, why do this? Because I appreciate helping people. I know that I would not be here without the help of many people who came before me. I think a lot of people think that poker is a solitary game because either you win or you lose. And while that is true, you either do win or you do lose, you learn from other people. You get experience from other people. And without their help, I would definitely not be here. I want to pay it forward. It's an interesting concept, right? Like I have a few people who are 50 or 60 years old who I've met mostly playing poker, really. And we get together and have lunch, and I send them emails to discuss my ideas. They never ask for money. They never ask for anything in return. They want to help the next generation. And that's a weird feeling. I don't know if you'll actually understand it until you're getting a little bit older. Not that I'm older, but you want to help the next generation, especially people who want to improve themselves. What's my biggest live tournament win? I guess it's the World Poker Tour at Foxwoods. We just showed off the little bracelet. This is exactly the bracelet. I think I got 1.1 million for that one. Then in the Mirage tournament, that circular trophy up there is the Mirage trophy. Got 1 million for that, I think. I think your playing style is exploitative. Or maybe you mean exploitable. How do you fix that? Well, you need to stop having holes in your game. That's a big question. Sign up to your free trial at pokercoaching.com. How old am I? I'm 33. Many bad players are awful at satellites. Yeah, many bad players are awful at regular tournaments too. That's for sure. I hear my baby crying. That's not good. You have to understand, just because some people play poorly does not mean that the tournament is all of a sudden going to be incredibly profitable. You need a lot of players playing poker, right? You need a lot of players making mistakes in order for the game to be very profitable, especially if your return on investment is capped. That's what a lot of people don't quite get. In a satellite, the maximum you can win, assuming it's a 10 to 1, is, well, you put in 100 and you win 1,000. That's the maximum. Everyone wanted to see James before the weekend. Come here. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? This is what made me think of seeing through a different lens. Here, you want a bracelet? You want a bracelet? Isn't that nice? This little baby made me realize that you see the world differently when you're different. He learns lots and lots of new things that I know. He learns what a truck is. He learns what colors are, right? Yeah? You like it? Hi. Here, you want this bracelet? Yeah. Oh, here, I'll take this one back. Oh, you want it both? So anyway, this is Mr. James. We love him. He's a good baby. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to say anything? You want to say hi?
No.
No? You want to say hello?
No.
No? You want to say bye-bye?
No.
No? Okay, fine. All right, well, I have to go get ready for my webinar. I hope you all have a great, great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be nice to someone. And have fun. Thank you all for being here. Get your free membership to pokercoaching.com. Spend some time and do it. You want to say anything else?
No.
No? Can you say bye-bye? Stand up. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Say it again. Say it again. Say bye-bye as we tell everyone goodbye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. James is like, what are you doing, Daddy? What are you doing? Have a great weekend.